Hello there. Throughout Dragonflight, Blizzard have been doing lots of updates to the old holiday events. The size and scope of those events has been a bit variable. Some have just seen a few extra rewards. In other cases, there's been many revamps with usually some extra content added. Now, for this year's Love is in the Air event, Blizzard have actually dropped a little bit of a surprise as they've near enough completely revamped the event. Most of the old NPCs and quests have been removed and it's been replaced by a new area, new NPCs and a bunch of new quests. In this particular video, I'm going to be running through all the additions to the event, and I'm going to be doing it in a little bit of a playthrough slash mini guide. So if you'd like to find out more about the event, what's involved and how to do it, this is the video for you. Now, this video by its nature is going to be somewhat spoilery, so if you'd like to explore the new content for yourself, I'd recommend just watching the first little bit of the video where I show you how to get started with the event and then skipping the rest until you've run through the event. I will at the end of this video be running through the new rewards, and I'll also be giving you my thoughts on this approach that Blizzard have taken this time. It's honestly to me a little bit of a surprise, but spoilers for you is that it's very much a pleasant surprise. Now, the event starts with a quest in Valdraken, which is just your standard intro quest to send us to the new area. Yeah, I'm just getting a bit confused with the Lunar Festival one. That is something about the event this year that both of them run inside. There's a nice new portal with a bunch of little places we can go to, which we'll explore a little bit later on. But over to Stormwind, and we spawn in mid-air. Go Blizzard. It's actually fine, you don't take any damage. We head over, we've got an intro quest here with a nice helpful quest giver all ready for us to get us going. And they give us a little intro quest, and what this intro quest basically does is it tells us to take a little bit of a walk around the area and investigate quite a few of the vendors. So there's quite a bunch of vendors that sell a bunch of stuff. He sells chocolate. There's a wee guy over here who sells some of the sort of like toys and other sort of novelty stuff that you get with the event. It's mostly the old stuff for the event. I am going to go through and share a few of the other items. This is one of the quest NPCs we're being introduced to here. There's actually two quest NPCs. You'll see a handy big portal, and that portal will become significant later on. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm now just trying to figure out, getting a bit confused again by the Lunar Festival and all how busy things are at the moment. But there's a final vendor over here. This is the key vendor just on the left hand side. You'll see me go up to her, who shows you most of the rewards. Once we do our intro and we get it all sorted out and handed in, we can then pick up the request from this little guy. Now, this quest is set in Stormwind, and it's basically a replacement for all the little perfume quests that you used to do in Stormwind. One of the interesting factors of the redesign is that the new quests all give a lot more of the love tokens than the old ones used to do, and that kind of compensates for this having slightly fewer quests, but it also makes the event a lot faster. Now, I was struggling to figure out how to get started with this quest, but basically what you have to do is you press the little button, and there's a little robot guy, gives off a plume of smoke and then runs off, and you have to follow him. Now, you see, I don't have a clue here. I'm like, what the hell's just happened? You get a clue, follow that scent. So I just wait for the timer to run out. I hit it again. I'm just a bit confused by the NPC, but you'll see me there. I hit it. And if you watch a little robot, there's smoke there. And I'm like, oh, penny finally drops for me and I'm going off. And basically this is just a little bit of a quest line that sends you around Stormwind. We have to collect a few clues. Some clues are relevant that lead to the next part of the quest line. Some of the clues are not so relevant. I actually kind of like this quest. I'm sure we've had quests where we have to follow things in the past, but I think the smoke, oh, he's down there. I realise that I should probably have mounted up because he goes really fast. But yeah, there you go. There's the second quest there. Now, when I try to use it at this point here, gets getting a little bit confused. It didn't actually go anywhere. And then I look at my mini map and you can see the quest areas up there. I'm mounting up because I'm like, oh, got to be very fast. But yeah, basically what you have to do is you need to go over to the next part of the area. So there you go. I figure it out. Off I go into the other area and I'm just using my little guy here. See where he goes. Get mounted up and off we're falling. He's a little bit funky because he like tries to go through walls but fails to do it. I guess it could be a bug, but honestly, I'm actually thinking it might be intentional because he looks like a little confused AI who can smell it and they're going, oh, I'm trying to get to it, but I can't get through a wall. I'll run along the wall. So I actually really liked that they did it that way. Yeah, and I think now it's over into the Dwarf District, is it? Or is it Old Town? Yeah, it's the Dwarf District. So there we go. I'll use it again. Bam. Off he goes, jump in my mount and race it in. And yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit of a playthrough here just to let you see the event because I know that, you know, some people have maybe lapsed WoW and like to see some of this stuff. So I'm like, where do I go now? Oh, yeah, the guy's actually right beside me. There you go, penny dropped. Okay, I'm sometimes not the brightest. So anyway, we hand this one in and you'll see in a minute. You get a bunch of love tokens, 15 tokens in this case. Happy days. And the next thing here we get is that we're essentially going to be dealing with some of the Crown Chemical guys. So this is just like a basic little kill quest. So I'm like, well, how do I find them? You actually just use this wee guy. He can't smell anything there, but you get that hint. So yeah. I headed over, I think, into the Cathedral District. There we go. And I used it again at some point. I'm just going into the middle first. There we are. Now, you can actually see the NPCs I need to kill. They're glowing in the right-hand side. But the little robot guy does help us find them out. Yep, so we get 2 of them there. Give them a bit of a doing. It turns out they're like those flying goblin little takes and little cupids. It's certainly nightmare cupids. I think that if you were going to get love struck by one of those cupids, it would probably involve losing a lot of money. So I went over Dwarf District. Are there any in the Dwarf District? Nah, there's now. Yeah, that's a bit sad. So off we go over to the Old Town and we'll see if there are any over there. I think actually I try again in Dwarf Town. No, still nothing. There we go. I actually found this like quite a fun little quest. You know, just the little robot guy felt a little different to me. I'm sure this is a mechanism, as I say, we've had in the game before, but I think the way they've presented it and designed it actually feels, like, to me, a kind of little bit fresh. You know, it's not just like, oh, guy's sleeping on the ground. Yeah, let's wake him up, give him another beating up. There we go. And the wee guy went off there. Oh, shit, I need to get mounted up and get to him. Oh, there's like 3 guys here. So that'll get the count up. Save us a little bit of time. There we go. After this, I think we only need 1 left, I believe. Yep, we only need 1. So we'll use the little guy that I'm thinking there probably isn't anymore. And I might have to go to the trade district. But, you know, before that, let's actually see. Oh, he's off. Hey. We're going into the sort of training dummy area. He went off to the right there. Oh, and there's the guy. He's glowing away, nice and happy, so we'll deal with him. And, yep, hit a training dummy. Oh, and we've got the quest hand in now. Now, when we pan this quest back, when we hand this quest in, if I remember correctly, let's just get it in. Yep, so now what we're doing is we're being sent over to Shadowfang Keep, which you'll remember in the old event, we spent quite a bit of time over at Shadowfang Keep, doing the event up, doing the old dailies that used to be over there. Thankfully, these days, we've got dragon riding. It's actually a lot faster than dragon riding. It only takes about a couple of minutes to get there, so I don't really bother with portals or anything like that. I was actually kind of just happy to fly over. It's kind of nice to get that opportunity to do the dragons in the old world. But anyway, I won't make you endure the entire flight, so I'll use a little bit of time magic and we'll skip forward. And that's us back again. Now, I immediately had a bit of a problem here. You can kind of see, because, like, where the hell's the NPC? Now, this seems to be a very common issue with, like, any new quest line when it comes out. People sit in their mounts, they don't think. Now, I do find the guy quite quickly here. But after I find the guy, yeah, I hand it in. I get the next quest, which is to drop some bombs on the Crown Chemical members. So it's similar-ish to the old one. Effectively, what they've done is they've combined a couple of quests into one. Now, the first thing I have to do is to pick up some bombs off the ground. Now, you'll see it takes me quite a long time to even figure it out or find them. Now, I'm just going to say, if you're one of these people sitting in the mine, I don't think most people here are griefing. You do get people who do that, but there's a reason, I think, why so many people are hanging about that I'll come to in a little minute. I really wish Blizzard would be a bit more proactive in using no mount zones. And maybe have a thing where it's a no mount zone for the first couple of days of that, because it was really hard to find in here. But if you're summoning a mount, please, for God's sake, think about other people, even in game. It only takes 30 seconds to show a bit of courtesy and consideration for people. The people there, as I'll come to in a minute, there's a reason why they're hanging about like that. But there you go, I find it. But honestly, guys, just try and be civil, eh? Anyway, I find it now. I don't want to go that way. So just trying to orient myself to figure out the quest. But yeah, basically what we do is we have to go down into the old area where you do carry out the quest. And it's simple enough. Basically, you just kill NPCs and you've got an extra button in the quest where you can drop bombs on those boxes, and dropping bombs on the boxes gives you credit as well. It very much reminds me of the old quest where there was a bit of bombing and a bit of killing of stuff. But it's essentially just been combined into a single quest. It feels a lot more like a more modern WoW quest. It's the kind of quest you get in the game. I actually like it. It's simplified. It's a bit quicker to do, bearing in mind that this is kind of a daily side quest that you would do in addition to other things. So yeah, I actually kind of like the quest. It's obviously quite busy. They've done a good job with the spawn rates here. Like, it's really easy to just jump in these guys, just get rid of them. Even though it's quite busy, I didn't really have any trouble getting the things to kill. So I'd certainly credit there. The only thing I'd say to Blizzard is really that guy up the top, make it a no mount zone, please. But anyway, I'm just trying to get out of combat here because I've like killed my fair share. There we go, can get mounted up. Let's go back to the hand in, and again, yeah, going to be a bit awkward to hand it in, but we'll manage. This is certainly easier than finding the bombs. That dropping the bombs in that scrum, I think it's one of those cases that, yeah, you wouldn't anticipate it, but now that you see it happening in game, yeah, you kind of realise it was an issue. But anyway, once you hand this in, you get a final quest, and the final quest here was to actually go and do the Crown Chemical Go mini dungeon battle. So if you only want to do that run for your X45 Heartbreaker or Love Rocket or whatever it is once a day, you'll want to hold off till you finish this quest. I'd already done one, so it meant I had to do another quest, but you know, it's no big deal. I'm able to queue as a tank is a main, so as you'll see, this goes up pretty quickly. Now, I think the reason people are sitting on their big mounts is because, you know, DPS, it's nowhere near as fast as this. They're waiting for that to pop, and I think a lot of that is what's going on here. So it's kind of like, I think Blizzard have accidentally created a mechanic where you're encouraging people to sit on top of a quest NPC. Hopefully this will something that they'll spot today. I'm just having that horrible moment with the healers not accepting the quest, and I'm going, oh god, am I going to have to re-queue again? But I didn't. We get the fight. I'll just leave this fight up. This is obviously the old fight. It hasn't really been changed at all. You can just go in and overpower it, but just because it's not hard, you just beat them up and it's over. As well as dropping the X45 Heartbreak amount, or, well, I say dropping, let's be honest, it don't drop, does it? This encounter also has a new Dragon Riding armor set added. I didn't get it in either of my runs today, but I'm hearing quite a few people getting it, so I'm pretty sure that the drop rate's fairly high. Hopefully it's a bit higher than the one for the Wintervale one was, because that was a bit annoying. But so hopefully we'll get it in a few more tries. I'm just having a wee look there. Yeah, I didn't get it. Bit disappointing. There we go. Out of the event. And that's basically the new Shadowfang Keep questline. I quite like that they've integrated the dungeon run into it. It makes it kind of, you know, flow nicely. It connects it into the event. Go again, just hand it in. Please, Blizzard, if you're seeing this, make that a no mount zone. Please, please, just do it. I kind of think, and I've been thinking this before, because I noticed that when you're running through any new quest line in the game, especially in day one, it's a bit annoying, and I kind of feel like they maybe need a mechanism where they can make something a no mount zone for a limited period of time, because no mount zones can be a bit annoying if you suddenly get dismounted when you don't need to. So I think that would be the solution. But yeah, once you've finished the Shadowfang Keep thing, it's back to Stormwind to hand into the quest. So we'll go back to a little bit of magic of editing to save you all's time. And we're back again. Yeah, so we're just heading in and we hand this quest in to the little guy down where we came from. You get quite a lot of love tokens for doing the Shadowfang Keep with the quest. So it's pretty decent, and made a mistake handing that in there. So it's 50 love tokens. I'm not sure if that's part of the daily thing. We'll see tomorrow. But certainly I got quite a lot. So I'm just heading over to the next wee guy to get this quest. And what he's doing is he's sending me on a scenic gateway to Grizzly Hill. Now the portal behind us, like the one in Vildraken, points to a number of locations. But the Grizzly Hill isn't, I think, one of the default locations. It's an extra one that came up. It seems that today people are either getting Grizzly Hill or Feralus. I'm wondering if they're the only two options or if there are actually going to be more options that rotate. I guess that's something we'll find out in the coming days. It's actually quite interesting going through these when not everybody knows the answer. Lovely picnic area. All of the portal spots lead to little picnic areas like that. The quest I've got today was to pick some flowers, and I'm actually going to criticise Blizzard again here, because something I noticed as I was going through these is that as soon as one person loots them, the flowers are immediately despawning. I didn't find it super hard to do, but obviously quite a few people doing it. It's, I think, something that always annoys players. It certainly always annoys me when you get that one where somebody picks it and then you can't pick it, and I hate, picking it myself when there's somebody else going there. There is one point where I do that because, it encourages that behavior. You're just like, see, I'm avoiding that guy. Then I'm like, no, I've avoided too many. If I keep avoiding them, I'm not going to get it. it's not ideal. But so hopefully that's also something Blizzard will fix, that they'll make these like shared tags or super fast respawning just to make it a little bit easier. I think those type of mechanics, they're just not good mechanics generally. They, you know, this isn't a PvP or a competitive event, and encouraging like players, you know, it doesn't encourage cooperation either way. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, that guy beat me to it. That's the kind of really annoying thing there. As I say though, they're quite spread out. There's plenty of space, and if you use, like, I just use my old school flying mount because I often do that in quests. I find that they work better for shorter distances. There you go. Got my 12 items. What do I do now? Well, I need to head back to the portal. Does the quest objective point me to the portal? Yes, it does. So overall, you know, I think this was a kind of... The thing I like most about this quest was it sent me somewhere in the old world. I've often felt that, you know, making these events integrate into the old world would be a good way of putting the old world into use. We've got so many old zones now, so much space that we could use for content in the game. I always feel it's really, really sad that we don't get to use it very much. But anyway, we'll hand in that quest and then we'll go and do the other daily quest and see what that's like. Now, before I do that, I actually followed this little guy just because he kind of sounded like he might be going to do something, but it's actually quite a nice interaction. And I know some people don't like the very saccharine, you know, touchy-feely sort of stuff in WoW, but given this is a Valentine, and love is in the air vent, you know, somebody like giving flowers to like his like partner, I'm going to assume that they're partners. I think makes total sense, you know, having this sort of stuff in the love is in the air event, you know. You've got to kind of cut Blizzard a break sometime, and I think it does add life to the game that you have these, you know, little bit of different things. Now, one nice wee thing he does is, once he's done, he's obviously a portal guy, so he ports himself back. If you know your knower, you'll know that the Kin Tor do not allow that sort of portaling because it's quite dangerous, but he did it anyway, so maybe he's a bit of a renegade. And then we go with this guy. Now, what this guy does is he wants you to take some time for yourself. So he gives you a little bit of a quest where you can select what you do. You can do a challenge, something tasty, or a nap. Now, I pick a nap here. Now, I think if you're in Argent Dawn in the EU or Moonguard in the US, maybe you wouldn't want to do this one. And those of you who know about what happens down in Goldshire and those servers will know why. But basically what this event does is it sends you off to the Goldshire Inn to have a little bit of a rest round there. So let's go and see what's happening down here. This is actually another nice little quest. I really like this one. It's not doing anything groundbreaking or unusual, but I think the way they've executed it is just kind of nice and fun. Now, I kind of assumed what I had to do was to go into one of the beds and sleep in one of the beds, but that's not actually what you have to do. And you'll see me there realizing that I need to go over here. I finally read the quest text. Always read the quest text. So what you have to do is you have to wake this guy up, and he's quite hard. I wonder who Madeline is. But anyway, he takes a bit of poking to wake it up. Now, the interesting thing is Hilda is sitting over on the other side. So I follow him out going, what is there? I come back in and I realise what you actually have to do is you have to plump up the pillow. And then it says take a nap. So I am like really determined to sleep in one of the other beds. So I'm like, here. So what do I do? Do I emote sleep? No, that doesn't work. Do I use nap? No, that doesn't work. Oh, look, the bed is sparkling. I should click on it. You know, sometimes you're not just very bright. But anyway, you get a nice little nap. But as you can imagine, given Goldshire Inn on certain RP servers, who knows what you can encounter in Goldshire Inn. I leveled a character in Argent Dawn where I had to come in here and pick up the quest from the quest giver in there. And there were lots of scantily clad night elves standing in a line along one of the walls. Didn't take me very long to work out what they were RPing, but yeah, that was certainly an interesting experience, and that was when I learned that what they say about those zones are for real. But anyway, so that's last of the quests done. That's basically all the entirety of the quest based part of the game. Now I got 167 love tokens for that. My guess is you'll probably get around 150 a day, which is quite a bit up on what we've seen before, and I think that'll make it a lot easier to get a lot more of the rewards, which is quite important, I think, because there's definitely a bunch of rewards to get, and that's what I think we'll dive into right now. The highlight reward for me as a confirmed mount collector is a Heartseeker Mana Ray. Now this is just a standard Dragonflight style Mana Ray, and it's kind of kitted out in pink. It is a nice looking mount though. We also have the exquisite Love Boat that allows us to summon a little boat to float upon. This has a lower cooldown while the Love is in the event is up, but certainly the tooltip implies that you can use it at any time. There's a date simulation modulator. This is essentially a skybox modifying toy, similar to those weather toys that we got back in Dragonflight. It allows you to change the sky colour into a variety of interesting different colours. The final toy, Eyes for You Only, turns other players into little heart shapes. So it has a similar effect to the overtuned Corgi goggles. It immediately occurs to me, just as I'm reading this, that this would be a great little toy to help with issues such as I had up in Shadowfang Keep. And yes, I do have that Corgi goggles. And yeah, if only I'd have thought about them, then I would probably have realised. Now, there's also that one there costs 40 love tokens, so it's not too expensive. There's a bunch of rose-based cosmetic headpieces where the male holds the rose in his mouth and the females put the rose in their hair, and they come in a collection of different colours: pink, orange, blue, black, yellow and white. These are kind of quite cool looking little headpieces, I have to say. And then there's a bunch of like open world buffs. The Rose of Romance increases your stats for 10% for 168 hours, but only in the open world. Rose of Tragedy does the same thing. Rose of Purity, Joy, Independence, Friendship, and Dreams Fulfilled. So that's kind of interesting little things. And there's also a little toy to throw a bouquet to another player. So yeah, so that's the new reward. So all those extra love tokens we'll be able to collect this event, I think we're certainly going to need. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I think it's really interesting that they've gone for such a deep revamp. It's not a huge amount of content to do every day, but it's pretty much completely transformed the Love is in the Air event. I'm really pleased to see that happening. I think many of the events up to now, well, it's been really nice to see the little revamps. Most of them were more little updates, and I think, calling them revamps was probably overstating it, and that's not the case with Love is in the Air. I think that this is a much fuller and deeper revamp, and hopefully this is something that we'll see being done and done equally well for some of the other events in future. It's a little bit disappointing that the the Crown Chemical Coat encounter wasn't given a pass as well. It's fundamentally just the same event it always was, albeit with an extra reward. It's a decent enough event, but I personally feel that the visuals for that event are really showing their age, much more so I think, than the other encounters and the other holiday events. So even just a light visual update would have been nice. But we're getting closer and closer to a new expansion. The amount of time and effort that the team will be able to spend in these events is becoming more and more limited as more of the team, having to focus on the new expansion. So overall, yeah, I think it's easy to be critical about those things, but I think this is definitely a big win for Blizzard. The big call out for me is the new portal mechanic, the amount of different old world areas that we can visit and making those a bit relevant. I'm a big believer in wanting to see the open World of Warcraft as a whole becoming more relevant, and to move away from the model where we're just all funneled into the new expansion area and we just stay there for 2 years and then move on to the next. I know they occasionally have done things in the past, but I just want to see them do more. And I feel that these holiday events are actually a really, really good place to do them because, they're somewhat evergreen with little updates, maybe some extra rewards every couple of years. And, they're very much being out in the world, making the world feel lived in. So I think they're the ideal candidates for more of this kind of open world thing. So I hope this is actually a sign of things to come. I think if I was looking forward to the rest of this year, we know that they've been doing some work on the Easter event. We at least know there's some new rewards there. Is it asking too much for them to do something in a similar scale for Easter? I think probably realistically yes, but at the same time, that egg hunt, it's not super engaging after all these years, so it'll be a nice one. Probably a more realistic one, I feel like, might be the Children's Week. That's quite a nice, enjoyable, but also very short one that we could see updated. And I think I heard Ian at some point even, or at least somebody say in one of the interviews that they thought Midwinter was in need of some love. So yeah, I mean, let's keep our fingers crossed for these. It's clear that even though we're getting closer to the new expansion, the team really are still trying to keep at least some momentum on this. But anyway, what do you think about the new event? Are there areas of it that you really like, or are there things that you think Blizzard missed that they could have improved on? Do let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, if you'd like to see some more of these combined news / walkthrough / guidey type videos, hit that like icon down below. That will tell me that you want more of these, and it will also help to tell the YouTube icon that perhaps this is something that it should share more widely, which is really, really useful for all content creators. I'll be doing lots more videos in the near future. I do news, I do guide, I do lots of opinion. Believe me, I have many, many opinions. And if you'd like to be notified when my videos go live, hit that subscribe icon down below and then hit the bell icon, and that way you'll be able to keep yourself up to date. But for now, I'd like to say thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully I will see you soon.